It is December 6th, 2022, 6:10 p.m., and I call this meeting to order. We're going to start off by calling roll call.
Benito Hernandez present.
Joe Perez present.
Javier Ramirez present.
Alexandra Flores present. We have Mayor Rick Villarreal running a little bit late. Anybody motion to excuse?
I so move.
Have a second?
Second.
We also have
Councilman Garcia.
Councilman Garcia is also running a few minutes late. Anybody motion to
I
excuse?
so move.
I second.
Okay, number 3.
We take a vote.
All in favor?
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 3, invocation and pledge of allegiance. Anybody want to lead us in the prayer? Okay. Dear Father God, I pray you watch over us as we make decisions, important decisions for the city. I pray that you also give us the guidance and the wisdom to think of everybody's benefit and not just of our own. I ask that you also help guide and help the decision makers in this room also make the best decisions in the best benefit of our community. In your name, we say, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag. Number 4, certified posting of agenda. Did we get it posted on time? Anybody? Yes? Okay. And number 5, public comments. Do we have any public comments?
We have one.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Irma Garza, representing the city of Palmview. Just want to remind the community that we have 2 community events coming up for the month of December. And we ask that they join us in collecting toys for those less fortunate in the community. The first is going to be happening on December the 12th at 6 p.m. at our Parks and Rec Gym. And that is the annual Guns and Hoses tournament, basketball tournament between the police department and the fire department. Entrance fee is an unwrapped toy valued at $5, at least minimum $5. And then on December the 18th, we are going to have a basketball tournament. This was previously going to be held on the 11th. It was moved to December the 18th at 9 a.m. This is to allow more basketball teams to participate. And this is a basketball tournament for young kids, for starting in third grade up. And then we also have an adult division, and they can call our Parks and Recs to get involved in that. Also, the entrance fee is going to be an unwrapped toy. And then the collection that we, whatever we collect, we are going to be distributing on December the 22nd throughout the community. You all are all invited to join us. That is going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and hopefully we're going to have thousands and thousands of toys that we can go out and spread a little bit of cheer to our community.
All right, thank you so much. Lieutenant, can you hear? Is this one, I can't hear myself. I feel like
Yeah,
the volume might be low.
No,
It's good? Okay. All right, and number 6, public hearing. Do we have anybody signed up for public hearing?
You gotta open it up.
Yes, it's 6:14, and we have Commissioner Joel Garcia in attendance.
Yes, and then we gotta open the public hearing. Mayor
Do
Pro
I
Tem?
have a motion to open the public hearing? Is it,
So move.
I second.
okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 6.1, public hearing on the needs assessment for the Urban County Program 5-year consolidated plan. And this is, we have Rudy. Welcome, Rudy.
Hello, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. Yes, so this is a public hearing that's required by Urban County that gives the opportunity to the residents of Palmview to address address any needs that they have throughout the city. So, we have this, I don't know if anyone is here, to address any issues.
Where are we with the 5-year plan, Rudy?
This is the first part of the process. So
Okay.
we gotta go through a public hearing. There's some information that we need to turn into them.
Okay.
After we have this public hearing. And,
So this is just to initiate this
correct.
5-year plan? Okay. All right, and when will the planning begin after this gets approved or goes through?
so we had to have this, public hearing during the month of December. We have to turn in some information to them by January 16th. And then the urban county staff begins, to prepare the reports on January 23rd. So
Okay.
our urban county submits by May 12th, to the HUD office in San Antonio.
Okay,
How do we promote it or let if it's allowed to the public to provide input? How do we communicate that to the people to provide input?
It was posted in the paper, and it
Okay.
was posted here in the front office here, where we post our agendas.
Yeah.
And these are only streets or roads that are south of the expressway, am I correct?
Most of it is south of the expressway. It's not necessarily just streets. We can do drainage
Drainage.
projects, sometimes some street light. Now, the last 4 years or so, we've done streets, we focus on streets. But yeah, it's pretty much south of the expressway, and not everything south of the expressway,
Not
but
everything.
most locations south of the
Okay.
expressway.
So the next project that we have with Urban County is which one? We've already done Silver Spur, or Silverado.
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 Right. It's supposed to be Business Center and Palo
Palo Blanco.
Palo Blanco.
Palo Blanco.
Palo Blanco.
However, we are gonna talk about that in the CIP item that we have there on the agenda. We had a meeting with Urban County yesterday, and the cost estimates from the engineers came up, so, we may have to decide, if we need to prioritize one over the other, because we may not be able to do both. Costs have gone up, and they're throwing in some drainage improvements as well, which has driven up the cost. So that's a decision that council's gonna need to make here in the near future.
So how much time do we have?
To make the decision, probably 2 weeks after our next meeting, in 2 weeks, as far as those two streets are concerned. This is for the year after and moving forward.
Yes, for the next.
so
5
this
years.
is like the end of the previous 5-year plan, or,
Yes.
right? If I'm trying to
Yes,
understand
and-
the process, right? And so that we can also educate our community on how this works,
Right.
and also ask for their feedback.
So we don't know what that might, that this 5-year plan might entail. It
No,
might
we-
not be everything south of the expressway.
It
Could it
changes
be?
every year depending on the,
The need at that
Depending
time.
on the need.
yes.
On data, actually, on
the census data.
Assessment.
They're
Data.
meant to focus on, low-income areas.
Correct.
Low to moderate income areas, so if a certain area,
Because we do have some to the north.
What,
We do, but not that meets the qualifying criteria.
Okay.
So it's really census-driven for the most part, so it shouldn't change.
will this be the only public hearing?
Every year we have the public hearing.
Yeah, but it would be only for one time?
Oh, no, for this 5-year plan.
5-year
But
plan.
every year, we'll have in October, we have to have our
Another one.
yearly, needs assessment hearing. So we will have one every year following this.
So this is just to, I guess, to initiate the process, right?
Yes, for the 5-year plan.
The new 5-year plan.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay, great.
okay. I guess before you leave, once this gets going, when are we gonna start planning for it? Or, looking at the,
So this 5-year plan would be for the years, let me see here. 2023 to 2027. So it would be the plan that they submit for the funds for those years.
okay. Okay, all right, we'll get together, I guess we'll decide when we can sit down, see what already got done, and then start planning for the next 5 years,
Yes.
just based on the needs so far.
Okay.
Madam President, I'll move to here.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to close the hearing. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And that's the end of the public hearing. Number 7, consent agenda.
I'll make a motion on the consent agenda.
I have a motion and a second. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Number 7.1, approval of minutes of
Let's-
workshop held
those are
November
all-
14.
Those are all the consent agendas.
Yeah.
All those
7.1,
3 are
7.2,
already,
7.3.
okay. Number 8, new business. 8.1, discussion and possible action to approve an interlocal agreement between the City of La Jolla and the City of Palmview regarding emergency medical services, ambulance secondary service staffed by fire department.
Also move for.
A second.
for discussion.
Oh, we have to open it? I'm sorry. I'm new to this. I'm learning. Okay, so do I have a motion to open up the new business?
Well, no, the
What?
motion to approve.
To approve.
Oh, to approve.
Or deny.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
I second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Or what?
Open for discussion.
Okay,
No, but no, I changed my motion. That's it for approval.
Yeah, for approval, right, but
Yeah.
still after the first motion and the second,
No question.
it goes forward for discussion.
for dis-
you're gonna try to pull from everywhere, because now it becomes a regional event, pretty much, so,
Yeah, I'm very proud of what we did about the ambulance. We saved a lot of lives.
yes, sir, we have.
You guys did, not us, you did. You did.
Yes, sir,
You
we
know,
have.
Just came in time into COVID, it was COVID, and I guess it was God sent.
And, you know, what's important is saving lives. It's not how much money you make or lose, because ambulance companies have lost money, but it all comes back to how many lives you've saved and quality of life for our citizens. And
Yes, sir,
that's what we wanna
Commissioner, that's true, we are service driven, we're not monetary driven, so it is a service that we do provide to citizens, and, it has come in very handy and very well for,
Thank you.
for everybody.
okay.
Thank
Thank
you
you
all
so
very much.
much. Thank you for the information.
Thank you.
And thank you to the City of La Jolla for that. Okay,
When discussion's done, you can close discussion and then call for a vote.
okay, we're closing that discussion.
Okay, so move.
Second.
All those in favor?
No,
sign-
yeah, all those in favor. You already had a
Because we already had the
you
motion.
a second.
All those,
Aye.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. 8.2, update on capital improvement project plan staffed by the city manager.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, there's a handout being circulated here on the update, standard format. We'll start with the
Yeah.
street paving projects. For the areas that were damaged related to the Awasad sewer project, South Prairie Fogle was supposed to be paved actually shortly after Thanksgiving, but because of the weather, they've taken some weather days. They advised us yesterday that South Prairie Fogle will be paved by the end of this week, which leads us over to South Lahoma. South Lahoma, we were ready to get paved. We just didn't want to have them both going on at the same time because they provide relief for one another and it would get real congested. We were in the process of finalizing our agreement with the contractor for South La Homa, but we'll be talking about that later on the agenda. But we hope, if we do move forward, we hope that to commence in the next week, to be finished before the end of the month as well. So we're targeting to get South La Homa and South Brayfogle paved before Christmas, basically, before the end of the month.
Okay, before the end of the month.
Correct.
And
the end
then
of
Brayfogle, before the end of this week, it will be paved?
Yes, before the end of the week to be paved.
We're gonna have good weather, right? We're not gonna have bad weather, I
As
don't
far as I know, no, the week, chief.
think. We have our own local weatherman here, right?
Before end of
Now,
December.
these
Okay.
rains, they've brought a lot of potholes that we've seen that require maintenance throughout the city. Our public works guys have been out there, but we're now starting to see specifically areas that were related to the sewer project around sewer manholes, like on Green Road, East Goodwin right there by the expressway.
It's terrible.
Butch Street by Benson, south of Benson. Coincidentally, or it's not coincidence, they just happen around the manholes that were where the construction was done for the sewer holes. We do report those to Awasad. We try to, work with those as well. We'll either patch them up with caliche or with hot pull or something to balance them out, because they can be pretty bad.
Okay, when you bring that up to Awasad, what is their response?
Very,
You could say it.
we
Not
don't get
good.
no response. We don't get a response. We have been pushing for committee meetings, which we're hoping we're gonna happen, very soon now that they've restructured their board, and they've advised us that we will have, committee meetings soon, and when that happens, we'd recommend that we bring that up. We do report it to staff the way we're supposed to, but, we don't get responses.
Well, we need a response, even if it's bad, because we need to tell the public what they need to know. And no response is not good,
It's-
because I've been, like I told you, Mike, I was driving down South La Homa, last week, and the holes there are really bad. It's embarrassing. And, this car went over a hole and just hit the frame, and I said, that's why I get these calls. That's why these people are very unhappy. I don't blame them.
Did that happen?
It's terrible.
Did I call you, or that happened to me?
No, it wasn't you. It was another one. But, no, it's not good. It's not good for our residents that live down there in South La Homa. I apologize, but, we need to do something about it. It's urgent.
Yeah. Yeah, so, that's, apologies, to our community. We are working, we are trying to find a solution, that will remedy this as soon as possible, but, we will be in communication with everyone to follow up and keep everybody up to date.
Wheels are in motion.
Sí. Urban County Project Street Paving, we kind of discussed that, but any details on that?
Yes, let's go into the specifics on this, and I'm gonna stop the discussion after this because we're gonna want some input from the council here. So we had the meeting yesterday, and they told us that don't just do the paving, you need to do some drainage improvements. On Business Center, they're saying that even though we did what we did with the pond and everything, that's alleviating the flooding, there's still some water that collects at the beginning of the street that's not getting to those inlets in the
Okay.
middle of the street. They're saying if you pave it, you're gonna still have that problem, the water's gonna collect there, and you still have problems in the future. On Palo Blanco, something similar, there's really almost no drainage in Palo Blanco, it's just supposed to make its way to Abram. So they wanna make, swells, they wanna put, inlet pipes underneath driveways, they wanna cut up driveways and put them back together with inlets the way it should be. But doing that, which are very good recommendations, it really increases the cost.
Of course.
So for example, Business Center alone would be 200,000, Palo Blanco would be 247, so that brings us up to about 450. Now, we usually have about 260 to spend, and we're looking at 450 for these two projects. However, Urban County is allowing us to transfer funds from other projects and other pots, that we might have had some savings in the past, as well as our program income that we pay into, every month that we get the rent for the premier building that we have to send to Urban County. So they've given us a budget of 390,000, which is great. However, it doesn't get us to that 450, and the 450 doesn't include engineering fees. So once you throw engineering, that's gonna go up to 500 easy. So it looks like right now we're in a position where we're gonna have to make a decision. Either you choose one of these streets for this year and put the other street for next year, or we say, you know what, let's just focus on the paving and let's put the drainage aside for now. We've already done some work on Business Center. Maybe we don't have to fully do the drainage, all of it. Again, it's gonna be a decision that we're gonna, need to hear from the council, so.
Is there a way we can, I don't know how much money we have left, but to compensate the difference?
Yes. We have money from the COs that we borrowed for street paving and drainage. we're about to do our first drainage project with Green Gate Grove, and we're waiting on the grants for the other drainage projects. We could tap into those funds, it just means that we'll have less at the end to do other things. But yes, that is an option.
How bad is it though?
On Business Center, I didn't think it was that bad.
Cause I think it goes up to the yard, right? It goes up to.
Oh, before, yes, but that was when
Not anymore?
when the pond was flooded, backed up, yes.
Palo
But,
Blanco is bad.
but they're saying that we need drainage also there?
The engineer, and not Izaguirre, remember Izaguirre did our original estimate. We have asked for a meeting with Izaguirre for them to tell us their opinion on that. This is the new engineers that's gonna do the street paving and say, hey, we can do your street paving, but they went out there and took pictures and they saw all the potholes and the water collecting, so I think they assumed, oh, you have a water problem here.
That's B2Z.
But,
That's B to Z.
but that, we didn't have that before.
And maybe we just haven't had, it hasn't really presented itself because the water was on the entire street. And we're fortunate
no,
that we
before-
solved the problem of getting the water down.
Before that problem, when it would rain, it wasn't happening, so.
Palo Blanco is bad, and I'm sure drainage is needed there too.
For the record, we have Mayor Ricardo Villarreal joining our meeting at 6:32. Thank you, Mayor, for saving me.
I think that we, you know, we need the, instead of us giving you the recommendations, I think we need to have which one is, you know, we need priority. Which one's gonna be priority from our staff or somebody to let us know which ones it is. And of course from the residents, right? But I think that we know which ones are more.
I mean, I'm not an engineer, but what if the elevation gets lifted a little bit at the entrance where there's water collecting and that will send the water to the drainages
What about that?
instead of making a whole nother drainage system?
The reservoir.
Retention
The
pond?
retention pond?
Sí, por eso, para
But
que la
that-
agua se vaya para.
That's done and that's great, but what they're talking about is at the very beginning of the street, you know where it curves?
Oh.
Right there that the water's sitting there and it's not making its way to the inlets in the middle of the street, they
draining.
go to the pond. So even if the pond does what it's supposed to do, and so far it has, they're saying you're still gonna have collection of water at the entrance of the road. They wanna put two more pipes in the ground, inlets that go all the way to the
Drainage,
pond.
Do we have houses that water going inside the house?
Not
No,
since we
not
did the improvements to the drainage, the pond. We feel that that was the solution to the bigger problem. Now this, it may not affect the houses, but they're saying it could affect the life of the street long
Yeah.
term. A street that should last you 10, 15 years may now last you, 5 years.
But we also have that problem at PTJ or what?
Yeah.
And plus, we have, there's a lot of work to be done throughout the city, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be a matter of prioritizing and, have we done, a good amount there already to alleviate the big problem, and, there's other areas that we haven't been able to
Yeah,
make improvements on.
I think we should leave that.
Spread the
to you
work.
guys.
What we can do is, we'd like to hear from the Izaguirre who did all the elevations and the work on Business Center.
To see if it needs anything,
To
any
see what their
additional
professional-
drainage
Yeah.
things. If it doesn't, maybe it doesn't, then it's only on one.
Yeah, if we can wait on that one, if we're okay with the work that we've already done, then we might be able to still do both, and still do the drainage improvements at Palo Blanco, 'cause,
Yeah.
that, one of the reasons that the streets are in that condition is because of the
we're
lack.
on,
But I would leave it to these guys, right?
So we can do that.
8-2.
We'll probably come back with the next one.
The recommendation.
The engineers and professionals out
8-2.
there.
That's next.
We'll come back with an item for the 2 weeks for an actual vote to determine that once we meet with the engineers. On the drainage side, continue with the improvements. The drainage committee met last week. We brought them up to speed on the drainage projects and the upcoming implementation of the stormwater fee. We had talked about this in prior workshops in our budget. Now that we have the CEDAM on board, we're gonna work into the education space where community outreach, let the public know about it, let them know what it's for, and so they can realize that this really impacts the entire city and not just certain areas. Green Gate Grove, were just approved by council at our last meeting. We're going out for bids in the next few weeks to select a contractor so they could start and finish, in January, as long as we stay on schedule. We're still pending grant responses for Riverside subdivision, which is on Showers Road, Ramirez subdivision, which is on Moorfield south of 495, that 18, 19, 20, 21 Street, and a joint project with the county for Spring Glen. These three are big ticket items, as you can see, 400,000, 500,000, I think Spring Glen was $1 million. They went to GLO. In the last month, GLO's been going back and forth with us saying, hey, do you have any information on this? Do you have, they're asking our grant controllers, do you have reports on this? Do you have photos on this? So we've been going back and forth. The fact that they're doing that means that they're pretty close to be making a decision, so we hope to hear something, within the next 30 days, probably in January. Those are big projects. If we could just get one of them funded, that would be great. Because if not, then we're gonna come back here to council and say, remember that money that we borrowed, now we're gonna have to make some decisions, and a $400,000 project eats up a lot.
But when are they gonna let us know whether it's yes or no, at least to?
Is there like an official
There's
deadline?
no official
okay.
deadline. Every year, when they do this, sometimes you'll hear in September, sometimes you'll hear in January, sometimes you'll hear it
But
varies.
remember the persons who came and did all the surveys and all that stuff, do we still have connections with them to let us know, to see?
They're the
what-
ones that are actually the middle people with GLO. They get all the questions from GLO, and they ask us, hey, they call us, hey, can you get us this, hey, can you get
Okay,
us that?
so we're providing more
And we package
information
it
on that.
together, give it to the
And
grant
then-
works, and they.
So they're
understand
still
it.
working on it, maybe there's still a lot of chance of us getting some
Yes,
sort of.
that's what we've been advised. The fact that they're asking us these questions
Yeah.
means, hey, it's a good
It's-
sign
it
if either
could-
getting closer
yeah.
to.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be asking.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's on the drainage side, on page 2, under street
Michael,
lights.
I'm
Go
sorry
ahead.
to interrupt. On the drainage, did we want to invite or nominate a second council member to join the committee?
Yes, this is not an action item, however, we had 2 council members representing the council on this committee. One who's no longer with us, so we're gonna want a second, so we'll put an item on our next agenda to have a formal appointment. Right now, it's Ms. Alexandra Flores, who represents the council, so we would just want one other as a backup, so to speak, but
Sí.
either way, both are part of the committee.
But we nominate, what, next week? I mean, next meeting?
At the next
Yeah,
meeting.
we could
Yeah,
do
we
I'll
think-
already nominate right now. Not me.
Oh, we need an action item, I apologize.
Streetlights.
Streetlights, so I know we've been pushing this for a while, it seemed like we weren't getting anywhere with AEP, no responses, it was going really slow. So we escalated it up to, one of their government executives, Mr. Lee Jones, I don't know if y'all know him, but he was quick to respond, he said, look, I'll work on this, give me the list, we gave him the list. About 2 weeks ago, he got us the first one last week, and he promises us he's gonna be getting us more. You see that those are the ones that are pending. They finally got us, Jimmy got us a street, that one light at the end, we're gonna move forward on that. And they're working on the Green Road one, south of Agualusa to Business 83, and I think Greenland was the other one, those 2 that they should be working on. We're hoping that by this issue being escalated to their executives, that we're getting faster response times, so we can, because it seems like this kind of stalled for a while. We had 2 different people working on it, and they were both getting the same response, it was really,
So we're still pending Greenway and Greenland,
yes. we're hoping to get those.
Moorfield, Mike Barrera, Frontier, Citroland, Scott Lane.
Unless there's
Okay.
Any other ones that y'all can think of, but these are the ones that we got, from prior meetings.
Before we make any more additions, we need to see how much this additions are going to be, right?
Yes.
But these are not budgeted for already?
We have money put aside that we borrowed to be able to do that, but we need to keep in mind is what we don't budget for is that the M and O side of it, we're adding to our light bill basically. So
Oh,
our-
okay.
So our budget's gonna be, constantly going up.
Okay.
On the park side, we still have the grant pending with, Texas Parks and Wildlife with the North American Butterfly Association. They had said the end of the year, we're getting through the end of the year, we still haven't heard. Usually they announce in October, November, they did say, they sent us an email that they are running behind. So we expect to hear something, if not this month, then no later than January. And we put in for an application to make improvements to the park here, the municipal park behind City Hall with the Valley Baptist Land Foundation. And we expect something, to hear something from them as well for January or February. Last item on the facility side, we're pending roof estimates and analysis. We want to do, council voted to do the remediation for the old fire station. We want to move forward, but we said at the last meeting, we need to see what the issue with the roof is first before we make improvements. And I see that we make, we clean out the bottom and then it keeps leaking. So, there were some contractors that came out here last week, I believe, and they're supposed to come back this week as well to get formal quotes. We're finalizing the design for cleanup in additions to the warehouse behind City Hall for incoming sanitation equipment. Remember, we said we're gonna have to make some improvements back here, park the heavy trucks, park all the equipment. We were waiting because we hoped that if the sewer got connected, we would open up a lot of space here that we could actually do work on. That doesn't seem like it's gonna happen, which means we have to accommodate the septics in the ground, which means we can't build on top of the septics, we can't build on top of the lines that come out of the septics, and it just kind of changes things. And it's unfortunate, but, we, like all this section over here, I don't think we're gonna get sewer anytime soon, so we'll make those accommodations. And then the last item, environmental assessment has been completed for the 10-acre tract by Flores Elementary. We were waiting on this for almost a year now because they have to send letters to the tribes, Indian tribes all over the nation and give them time to respond. That got sent to USDA last week. They just asked for some minor touch-ups. So this, in conjunction with our audit, which should be done in the next 2 weeks, we expect to have a response from USDA that says, hey, we can finance a new building for you at 40 years at this percent, and your payment's gonna be $200,000 a year. Council's gonna have to make a decision here real soon, what we're gonna do with that property, if we're gonna build. The idea and the drawings call for a new fire station / EMS to accommodate our ambulance / emergency operations center, as well as the training facility. But that number came in, the original estimate came in at $6 million, so we expected the debt service for that annually was gonna be about $200,000, so.
Much needed.
They used to be here, they haven't been in there since 2019, then they were in the portables in the back, and now they're in the substation, which, truly should be for PD, but they've been able to accommodate us, so, we've been waiting on this.
Can we, fix the portables? Are they fixable, or do we need new portables? I mean, for
Some of
the
those are
meantime.
bad, we tried to fix them, we put in some renovations when we first put fire in there, but they don't hold up, well enough.
And I'm saying, because I'm sure they're crowded, overcrowded over there at substation. Am I right, chief?
Yeah,
It's a little crowded out there? Yeah.
we're having to make accommodations, you have
Right.
to separate your males and your females, and
The 6 million, Mike, that's for the fire station only?
for that
EMS.
facility, that's for just EMS, EOC.
Yeah,
But yeah, just
CCC,
for that.
just for that.
Yeah, that's a big number.
That's a big
And
number.
that's just for starters, because we're prioritizing what we need more.
Yeah, the CCC.
And fire
The city
protection.
hall will be over there too, right?
Eventually.
Ideally, the long-term plan was to put our entire footprint over there in
Library and
phases, have like a campus. And, maybe we could do something with this property, given the proximity, but
Yeah.
given the rising cost of construction, that's probably gonna be like a long-term plan.
See, where would we allocate those funds from to start that?
We'd have, for grants, there wasn't a whole lot of grant site for facilities, so for fire station. I think the grantors mainly feel, hey, that's kind of your responsibility to have to do. There's been a push for it in sessions in the past, and nothing's come out of it. Or some entities use Urban County funds, but where this property is, coincidentally enough, south of the expressway, that one little tract is not available.
It's
for
not.
We'd have
Urban
to
County.
borrow the money.
It's on,
So it's gonna fall on us,
gonna fall on
our
us.
city revenues.
Yeah, hopefully our revenues go up again this year like they have in the past. Sales tax revenues go up, values go up, new construction. We're on the brink of a lot of commercial construction that,
Yeah.
you've heard about that, hopefully comes through fruition. And that's gonna generate new property tax and sales tax. So it'll probably be through revenues such as those.
So we're already a step ahead, thanks to La Joya ISD for, donating that
Oh,
land.
the value of the land.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If not, we would've started from scratch.
Yeah, that's a big help.
That was a big help. Very big help.
See,
But we are on the time clock with them to make sure that we get something done.
how much time do we have left?
We brought it to the May or the summer, no, May or June.
Summer of 2023?
We need to
But
sit down to see
does it
what
have
we
to
can
be
do. We
built,
need to start doing it meanwhile.
or is it
Summer.
working with architects and
Start.
engineers?
Yeah, we showed them all that last time, all the
Because-
designs that we put into it, when
Right.
we paid, the environmental assessments, but no, they wanted something
A structure.
like a structure, they wanted something built.
Pues
So
ponemos
they
el
wanted to
piso.
start by the summer.
Ponemos un piso ahí.
A fence,
We'll do something.
yeah.
We will. But that's all we got, unless anybody has any questions regarding capital improvement projects.
No, let's keep on that, the
I'll keep it.
fire station here. For the meanwhile. Next item,
8-3.
8.3, discussion of possible action to engage services for managed IT services. Staff by Mr. Leo.
Mayor, something that we've been talking about for a while, getting somebody dedicated just to IT services, so we don't have to count on the Pura that over there, who'll be overburdened, I think, with a lot of IT stuff. So we were able to get proposals, not just from people that work elsewhere, they can come in the evenings, or they can come, at their time, and actual companies that are dedicated, that have multiple staff, that says, if you call us at 2 in the afternoon, we'll be there at 2 in the afternoon. So we can log in, remotely we'll log in. We were able to solicit 3 quotes, they're in your packets. One's at $3,500 a month, one's at $5,800 a month, and the other one's at $5,300 a month. So we'd like to recommend consideration for proposal number 1 with Lone Star Technology for $3,500 a month to get started. As we do have a lot of pending IT initiatives that we want to jump on. on,
Where is that packet, Mike? I'm sorry, I didn't
It should
get that
be-
one.
I don't know if you have the agenda packet, or if not, so do we put
Do
this
we
out?
have,
Hard
do we have
copy.
all proposals? Oh,
Which one is it?
I mean, I know couldn't we hire somebody full-time for that money?
Possibly, well,
Have
what
somebody
level,
full-time?
that would be 36.
We also have to think of their
32,000, and another-
benefits
it'll
and
be about
retirement.
42,000 a year.
Huh?
42,000 a year.
40,
I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, on what kind of caliber person do you think we could get for that dollar amount? From what I've heard, that it probably, I don't know if Jerry Gadiel is here, that it might cost more than that, to get somebody at that level.
On average,
But of course, that's not gonna be the only thing.
HR, on average, you know, I've kind of already done some studies, an IT person, because of the level of work and the security they need, 65 plus, you know, that's what they're really looking for. I
And how long
did
is
speak to
contract?
some, gentlemen some people that wanted to inquire, and that's what they were really looking for.
We're looking at
Okay.
10 months just to finish the
And-
current year, just
and-
how it goes.
they will be in charge of all IT?
IT, phone systems, and networking, software, hardware, you know, pretty much anything IT related.
Is staff recommending?
Right now, we are, yes.
So move for approval.
oh, who is it?
Oh, the lowest quote of Lone Star Technologies at 35.
Lone Star
I'm gonna second.
Technology?
Questions?
After tomorrow.
What was the name? Lone Star?
Lone Star Technologies.
Where are they from?
McAllen?
So when they come
Mission,
in,
I'm sorry, Mission. Mission.
when these individuals come in, Mike, are they, like, for example, right now in our city meeting, would they be here assisting to get that started? Are they gonna guide you all on how to start it? Or- I'm just trying to imagine,
I think
you know,
task
the
would
city
be-
functioning without Sepulveda.
The task assigned, that's like, you know, if we have IT problems, you know, the laptops that we put in the police vehicles that need software now, they can install the software. Networking, because we have the portable buildings in the back, we have the youth club in the back to get all that stuff going.
Okay,
For day-to-day operations, for something like this, especially like for our meeting, we most likely try to rely on what we have right now internally. Now, if we wanna do upgrades, we can ask them about, do you have any recommendations on the media and stuff, or the technologies, but as far as managing and operating it, it'll fall on us.
So if, I mean, I like the idea, the only thing I'm concerned is that, if that would be the process, and then we have Mr. Sepulveda still doing the same thing, you know, trying to, you know, the whole thing is for him to get with his job
Relieved
and
of-
relieve
of-
this completely 100%, right?
Because right now, if anybody has a computer problem or a phone problem, he's getting the calls.
So, yeah, but
During the day, it's taking them away.
And
from
they would
home.
be able to send somebody?
And we had somebody, that should not happen anymore.
They would be able to send somebody?
Yes, they'll either remote in, if it's a computer problem, they can remote in, if they can't, they will send somebody at that time.
And they're from here, from Mission,
Yeah.
which is Palmview.
do we have, is it budgeted for, like, do we have monies allocated for that?
We have savings from other items that we're gonna address during our budget item.
Okay.
A budget amendment item later in the agenda that we're actually gonna be able to, pay for this and some of the other items, if you so wish to move forward on them, without having it happen, you know, we're gonna make
Okay.
$1,500 from our reserve, that's it.
There was a motion I said.
They used to run our social media stuff and do all the pictures and the graphics and the invitations. And now that we have Ms. Irma on board, Ms. Irma will take that off their plate, so to speak. They don't have to go on our social media and do the posts and do the updates. We'll do that here internally. We'll rely more on them for digital media, graphics, invitations, flyers, things of that nature.
But we will still be I mean, what I'm saying is that we don't wanna drop in the social media and the perception.
Or, you know, the update, so to speak, or we can do videos like, I think the Seymour got to do some videos on Friday.
I just wanted to add that, actually, our engagement has increased by more than 30% on our social media since I came on board.
Okay.
And those numbers are on our social media page.
Okay.
So we're more consistent, and more engaging. So we
Yeah.
have increased our numbers.
Yeah, we have somebody in-house that's gonna get better.
Sí.
Thank you, Ms. Garza.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
any other questions on this contract or discussion? This contract or discussion?
No.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Good luck with that, and make sure make sure that they're on track, and that they continue to expose the city in a good light. Item 8.4, discussion and possible action, 8.4 I did.
Yeah.
8.5, discussion and possible action requiring professional services with Pixel Lift Media for video services to include stand-up interviews, showcasing city services, events, and departments. Is that by Public Affairs Department?
Yes, sir. This is what the camera person that I had discussed with you all, last month. He's ready to go on board. We're ready to start shooting, Friday. Looking for some ideas. We had thought that we could start with maybe the drainage, with the street, projects, as well as the new businesses. You know, we can even, talk about permitting process, and the number of permits that we're issuing on a monthly basis. So we're open for ideas, but we're ready to get the ball rolling.
I so move
So
for
we're
approval.
entering a service agreement with this,
It's gonna be,
Okay, I
not
have a
a
motion and a second. Questions? Continue. Go ahead, just for the record.
professional services.
That's
Yeah,
what,
as needed.
150, right?
as
That's the young man
needed.
that you-
Okay.
that-
As
that you
needed.
Or
got.
150, right?
I
That you
would,
asked.
I would recommend, Ms. Garza, you said we're open for suggestions, because this is something that's coming in that's new. I would say even within our department, within the city, get a couple of, from each department, right? I'm sure you're smiling, because you probably already thought of it, right? And then
No,
let's-
because they're gonna hide from me.
No, they're getting out.
They won't wanna be on
And
camera.
then we'll be, our PD as well, and our, all our departments.
Yes.
And then
To promote it,
figure
or-
how we can
Let's start with
best-
our new chief.
Yes,
Yeah, how we can promote the
So we can-
departments, right? in a
Yes,
good
sir.
light.
highlight.
Yes, sir.
I think we can
So,
do
and
it.
then right before Christmas, that be busy every day, all day, right?
Yep.
So, any other any suggestions?
I also have a suggestion, maybe also to highlight our local businesses. Maybe in one video, highlight our, I don't know, our mechanic shops, and then in another video, our restaurants, and another video, human services, any clinics that might have, some
can do that
services to, something like that, just to where we're informing the community of,
Did you know that
yes,
Our-
yeah,
Our Boys and Girls Club.
yes.
our youth
Yeah.
club?
Sí.
Our
We
youth,
start there,
our
if
youth
anything,
center.
there are businesses, right?
Sí, también.
So,
And, yeah, for the record, no contract, no, long-term obligations, no monthly fee, only paid when.
As
we actually
needed.
do the video.
Yes. And it'll include the English and the Spanish version for
Okay,
the
great.
150.
Okay, great,
Thank you.
yes.
I had a motion and a second. Any other input, questions? And if you do have, let Ms. Garza or Mr. Leo know, right? As sometimes
Any ideas?
ideas pop up on a Wednesday night or Tuesday after the meeting.
Can we also add events onto our city website, not just the Facebook page? Just because, well, not everybody has Facebook, so if they were to log into our website, they will be updated as well, for whatever current events we might have, any giveaways, anything like that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we can.
I think that's,
I don't know that our calendar, that I have access to the calendar, but I'll make sure that I do. And I'll always write a story, and that will always be at the top,
Okay.
in the news section.
maybe like a slideshow,
Yes,
current
ma'am.
events.
Yes,
Yeah,
we'll work on that.
thank you.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Next item, 8.6, discussion and possible action regarding an addition to the solid waste ordinance. Staffed by our planning and zoning.
Yes, Mayor and City Council. So this was a previous item that we discussed in one of our workshops. So this is an addition to the ordinance that identifies a 10% discount for veterans
make a
on their
motion.
residential accounts.
And a motion and a second, I think we had discussed this when it came up. How many, I got a question, how many, I know I've, you know, it's heard, there's been a couple of them there, but how many veterans do we have?
Well,
that have
so,
come up
so
with-
far that have come, I have one person, but that person is kind of like waiting for us to decide so he can advise others.
And can we, I know that we had voted on this item, what, a few months ago? I don't know. if you
Well,
can
I think we discussed it at a workshop.
Discussed in a workshop.
It was in a workshop until they got the stuff together. yeah.
So it's barely now gonna start
Yes, we
initiating
can,
once it
if it's
passes.
approved, we can start, for the billing that would happen in December.
All right.
So
Okay.
we can add that.
Any
Okay.
other questions? So this is for our veterans.
Veterans.
right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything else that you have? Rudy?
Yeah, no, sir.
All right, motion second, questions? Any, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Rudy.
Thank you.
Can we just kind of touch on that, what exactly that was, so the community
Sure.
can be informed?
Just for the record, that, we didn't bring it up to the council for a vote, but we did discuss it in a workshop. And that's, for our veterans of foreign wars, disabled veterans, and all veterans. Right? There's a 10% discount on their trash services. So and they need to bring in their card, their proof they serve, and that they live in the city of Palmview. And we'll go ahead and honor, show our respect and honor by giving them a discount for their services in the armed forces.
And if we had other utilities, we could look at that, like other cities give you discounts on the water and sewer. We don't have that, of course, that's through our set, so this is the one thing that we did have, which is the trash.
Okay. We might wanna inform them on our,
Yes.
todo is social media, sorry. It's just our communication portal.
And I just want to announce the Easy Pay on their website, because a lot of people have been, not knowing that you can pay online and you can do a recurring, meaning that it'll just continue to deduct from the
Auto-pay.
bank, and it'll be easier for not to. Now, if they want to come and visit our personnel here, fine, it's okay. But, we urge that you use their online payment as well.
The auto pay. Yeah.
Auto easy, that's good, and you don't have to save time, energy, resource. Right? Use technology to our advantage. Next item, discussion and possible action to issue request for proposals, planning and management services providers to complete application and project implementation for the Community Development Block Grant Mitigation, CDBG, MIT Resilient Communities Program, RCP, for funding administered by the Texas General Land Office.
Mayor, City Council, good afternoon, HR Director. I'm assisting City Manager, or we're kind of doing this together to go out for a grant to further, Congress passed a plan to, or appropriated around $16 billion to provide assistance in areas impacted by recent disasters to mitigate disaster risks in our disaster risks in our area to further reduce losses. And so we want to be one of the first ones to go out there and acquire some monies to help, obviously, the city.
I'll make a motion.
And what are some areas that you're gonna be naming?
Well, we're
Oh,
first.
I'll second, sorry.
Motion and a second, go ahead.
So
Thank you.
So the goal of this grant is pretty much to invest, to support data-informed investments on loss and property and critical infrastructure and update hazard mitigation plans. So right now, what we're doing is we're gonna go out for RFPs, and we'll see what we're gonna get back, and then I guess we can, once we get somebody assigned to work with, we'll go ahead and start assessing the areas and things like that with planning and zoning and all
Just
those
to give,
departments.
update, in general, just to update what we have.
Yeah, so basically right now it's just to give us permission to go out for the grant, basically, to see if we can acquire some
How
monies.
much is the grant for?
We don't know yet, but the Congress allotted, or appropriated $16 billion for it, so.
And this
there's
is for
money
city
to-
property, like city owned?
Investments in loss and property and critical infrastructure of the city.
What we're thinking is developing a comprehensive plan with our planning department, an analysis, making sure our building codes are up to speed, land use, current land use planning and future land use planning. We have not had a comprehensive plan. We've been talking about it for a while. This is similar to what we did for the GLO grants. This will allow us to get somebody to help that we will select as a consultant to help us go after the grant.
Okay.
So, you know, companies like GrantWorks and other grant consultants will respond to this. We get them and they'll kind of do the work for us to submit the actual grant.
Okay.
This is the first step.
And the actual grant, if it goes through, would be also funding their services, or is that
Yes,
coming in-house?
administrative
Oh, okay.
services. And if they don't get it, we don't pay.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Very good.
Excellent. I've had a motion and a second. Any other questions or input? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.8, discussion and action regarding quotes received for street paving for South Tahoma.
Mayor, legal counsel is going to request we take this item into executive session.
I so move.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. 8.9, discussion and possible action to approve amendment to 22-23 City of Palmview municipal budget.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Mayor, for the record, this allows us to accommodate the agreements that we approved earlier. The media and the video consultants will be paid from our existing budget for advertising and marketing, so we're okay there. Consulting services have been reduced by $22,500, and the fire chamber contribution reduced by $10,800. Those two are gonna fund the new IT management services that we talked about for $35K. There's a small balance of $1,700 that we're gonna take from contingencies, but that's all we needed to take from contingencies to balance. Our amended budget will still have contingencies in the amount of $147,000, which is good. And the last thing that we're doing is the vacant finance director position, we're gonna reduce it by half to fund the contracted employee that we have doing the director of finance work already, so that's worked out well.
Well, so just, and keep your eye on, all of you, right, keep your eyes on your budgets. The cost of everything seems to have been going up, except fuel gone down for a while. But, you know, we gotta try our best to keep a good, healthy budget.
I don't see anything changed in this ordinance or this, what would be an amended budget. It looks the same.
They all went out within the department,
Okay.
so.
Okay, so it kind of like transferred within each other? Okay. Ah, okay. So nothing transferred from one department to the next. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item 9, executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a
for
motion.
executive session? Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. And for the record, we will be going into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551071, 551072, 55173, 55104, 55106, and 55187. We will be back shortly at 7:05. If I didn't say it, I'll repeat it. We will be out shortly.
Point 8, legal counsel is recommending that the council approve a motion that allows the city manager to go out again and request new quotes for the South Lahoma project, and that if the quotes are above his statutory expense, then he already have the authority to go out for a CSP, a certified seal proposal, in order to proceed with this project for expediency.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Mayor, there is no action on 9.1, there's no action on 9.2, there's no action on 9.3. On 9.4, the legal recommends that the city council adopt the evaluation that was submitted to legal counsel for approval.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
For what? What was it? For approval? For the. This is just to adopt the evaluation.
Oh.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
And just to be read into the record, Mayor, on 9.4, the evaluation, the council did give the city manager an above-average evaluation. On item number 9.5, the legal counsel is recommending that the council adopt the new contract, the new city manager contract as discussed in executive session with a 1-year extension.
So move. Second.
A motion and a second. Questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And just for the record, legal counsel will work on the contract amendment, and we'll go out for signatures with the mayor, to make sure it's enforced. It'll be effective tomorrow.
Okay, great, excellent.
And that's it, Mayor, there's no further items.
All right, so, 8:58, do I have a motion?
I so move to
Motion to adjourn?
adjourn.
Have a second?
Second.
A second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, motion carries. 8:59, this meeting's adjourned. Congratulations, Mike. Good luck.